A lot of brand new cracks across the road. Cracks here run a foot down. I can see a foot into the ground, and they're a good 2 inches to 3 inches wide. There's a separation right here, about a 2-inch height change in the pavement. Looking down in it, it's about a foot deep, those cracks. You can see where the road just settled right here. That's 6 inches. The dirt is, this road is sunk 6 inches from the side shoulder. The dirt along here is sunk in. It's a big, it's like a sinkhole right here. That looks about 2 feet deep. Asphalt's been buckled up 3 feet, 3.5 feet. $2,700 block of dump road. This is at the edge of the New River. You see on the left side of the patrol car the dirt that had broken away from up here. Power poles are in a kind of a precarious position. Worthington Road, about a half mile east of Hall Road. Worthington Road again. You can see how much the trailers move by the difference between the door and the steps. Good 1 foot. This is Worthington Road, just east of Forrester. Just telling them where we're at.
What?
Just telling them where we're at.
Okay, you probably want to come side up and get the sun on it so you take pictures of it. Right down the belly of it. Here the foam and shit where it bubbled up out of the ground.
Graphic comments by Ron Lucas.
And it's wet here. Water's still running, looks like.
Yeah, it's running right over there.
That's something else they didn't have in Riverside when they had theirs, and Whittier when they had theirs.
Whole different set of problems down here.
You bet.
It's Worthington and Forester Road. The northeast corner. This is Geo's mobile home park. Another one of Geo's. You can see the shift in the skirting and edge of the trailer.
Right, if you go southbound on Barberworth, from 98, and hit the canal bank.
10-4, still find out what that other traffic is.
So we're on that right now. Go to another channel, channel 3 or something, but we can't copy anybody on one.
Alpha 2553. Go ahead.
This is part of the new construction for a trailer park just south of Geo's.
Take it all the way up to here. See where this small little bubble is over there? There. Look around it. See. Move up a little bit more, Tony, and take this around it. Sound of this. Okay, Tony, go back and take it around and come back.
See that little hill over there? Okay, you go down, see those two white posts right there? Okay, you go in that road, and there's another one, that's on high seas. And there's one there. There's two out in the middle of that field. I tried to drain one of them about 10 years ago. You can't drain them.
Can't drain them.
No? You dig down to them, I dug down there. See, now there's a lot more in there since that earthquake. Was there one here like this? No.
Here, George. Give me a tape. Here, tape measure.
You can. We dug down into one and put 3 truckloads of rock and sand in that sucker, and it just goes away.
Took that. Okay. Just so it'll know in there. 20, 24. No, that's all right. Just. You got this?
I wanted to get the markings on the side. I have it marked via feet.
Look at this one, right?
Okay, what we're looking at is the first of the 2 fissures that we found after inspecting Mrs. McKinley's trailer. The first one you are looking at is the largest of the ones that we found. The second is a fissure that it goes into the ground approximately 3 feet as measured by a tape. The outside surface is covered with this gray material, and as it moves to the outside, it thickens and crusts over. As we move into it, this clay becomes softer and more pliable. Unknown if this liquefaction or how deep this liquefaction actually is.
It's approximately 8 feet from each other. Can you pick up that sound too, Tony?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now back up in there and take it with me pointing at both.
Okay, the piece of PVC pipe you're looking at that Chief Benavides is standing by is approximately 8 to 10 feet long between the fissures themselves. We believe this is actually connected underneath the ground in some way, whether it's straight through or whether it comes up in 2 separate holes. We're not sure of that yet. What I'm going to attempt to do is, you hear this sound in the background. I'll be quiet for just a second. The air sound you hear is actually coming out of this circular pattern that we have in the middle of this fissure. I'm going to attempt to put this piece of paper over the top to show you the force that's coming out of the ground enough to move this piece of paper. Okay, I'll repeat this so you can see that again.
Constant pressure.
Okay, there is a very slight breeze today, and the paper is not coming off. It did come off the other day. It's a little wet. Let me try with a clean piece of paper. The air itself coming out of the ground is cool to the touch along with the clay. There's not enough air coming out of it today to move the piece of paper as readily as I thought it would. But the fissures, you can see myself standing in it with a hip boot on, is approximately 6 to 8 inches deep in this gray solution so far. Taping across the circumference of the hole, where it kind of divots in, is approximately 18 inches. The entire circumference of the pit is approximately 18 feet in diameter. As you can see again, as the solution moves to the outside, it forms itself and crusts over, becoming like a clay-like substance. Now pulled my boots from the surface of this muck, and it's starting to come off pretty readily, but it's still in its liquid action, and it's kind of like glue. Also, it's very, very heavy. On my arrival, November 27th of 1987, this piece of liquefaction was in action. I had bubbling gray material coming up out of the ground. Today, December 9th, 1987 at 8:30, this one has stopped. As we measure across this particular one that stopped right now, it measures approximately 48 inches across and is approximately tails out to 10 feet, where then the clay again crusts over and becomes solid. There might be a little action still in this one, but today we don't have any action, but we have noticed a new fissure directly northwest of us underneath a salt cedar tree, which we'll be moving to next to give you that circumference and the action it's doing right now. On this particular hole, we do hear the bubbling sound, but we can't see it because of its depth. I'm going to go ahead and be silent for a second to see if we can hear it, and then I'll go ahead and measure the depth so you can see the depth of the fissure. Okay, as I remove my pole, I'm going to insert it down inside the fissure. And as you can see, the fissure extends all the way down to 7.5 feet before I hit anything solid. I take that back. The pole is going down its entire length to 8 feet now before it gets solid. I'll be removing the pole to give you the type of angle we're looking at.
Give the circumference of it.
As you can see, the material is in a liquid form right now, which is dripping off on the bottom. I extended this piece of PVC, which is 8 feet long, all the way to its end. The circumference of this particular fissure is probably about 2.5 feet by 3 feet, and it lengthwise out to about 6 feet in a circumference. Most of the ones that you're seeing are right under salt cedar trees, and this is unknown why that is. We haven't found any that are in the open by themselves yet. Faction areas. As we pan to, you'll come. This is the closest structure in proximity to our liquefaction areas. As we pan to the northwest, you'll come to Chief Benavides, who will be pointing out the new fissure, which we found this morning. And as we pan across to the horses, this is the one we discovered on November 27th. And as we move into the brush, according to the owner, there is another liquefaction area out in that brush, which we will be inspecting today. We're looking at 124 Barry Oni Boulevard in Imperial, California. What you're looking at are cracks in the structure of this building, which was said to be unsafe by the Imperial County Building Inspector. Wall of Kelly's TV showing the cracks in the structure. Now these cracks actually go all the way through the interior wall, which is stucco over wood frame, approximately 2 inches in depth and width and approximately 8 feet long, extending all the way to the roof area. Southeast portion of the same building, Kelly's TV, showing a crack that is through the interior wall and goes all the way through to the inside of the structure. South side of Kelly's TV showing cracks in the structure. And we can see in this portion of the building it was coated with a cement type covering over a brick layer supported by wood frame. .123 Barry Oni Boulevard in Imperial, California. We'll be panning in an east to west direction, showing the fascia cracks in the bricks and also some of the bricks that have fallen down. We'll be moving the entire length of the building, showing the cracks and the warp in the ceiling walls. As we move back to the east, we're going to pan up into an area that we actually had a wall collapse into the interior of the second floor of this particular structure. This was a total brick structure supported by masonry with a wood frame roof. You'll be looking at the walkway area between the Worthington Building and the street at 123 Imperial Avenue in the city of Imperial, California. This was due to the earthquake on November 25th of 1987. This is also the Worthington Building looking from a westerly direction to an easterly direction, showing the cave-in on the second story of the brick with the masonry outside. Superstructure crack in the outside through the brick. And panning the other wall on the west side, we have facial cracks on the outside of this brick also.